tall. My whole name is Jacob Irvin Wetterling.
9 o'clock. Did you know where your kids were? In St. Joseph, Minnesota, the Wetterling family thought they did.
Yeah, this is a series of cascading failures by all levels of law enforcement.
Of course.
Tonight we will be talking about the chilling case of Jacob Wetterling, which is still one of the longest cases in America's history. It all started in 1989 when Jacob was only 11 years old. The strange thing about this case was that just 10 miles away from the location where Jacob disappeared, a boy named Jared was also abducted and sexually assaulted. It turns out that after decades, Jared became the key figure in solving this case. Jacob Wetterling lived in St. Joseph, Minnesota, with his siblings Amy and Trevor and his parents, Patty and Jerry. On the night of Jacob's disappearance, his parents were attending a late-night party 25 minutes away from their home. They asked their children to stay at home until they arrived. But later that night, Trevor called his parents and asked if he, Jacob, and Aaron, Jacob's friend, could go out to a nearby convenience store to rent a movie. At first, their parents said no, but after some time, they allowed them to go, as the convenience store was only 10 minutes away. But after some time, Jerry's phone rang. It was their neighbor, who asked them to come home as soon as possible. Both Patty and Jerry rushed home to find Trevor and Aaron in a state of shock. When they asked what had happened, the boys said that someone had kidnapped Jacob. They told that when they were coming back, Aaron heard a sound coming out of the side of the road. At first, he thought it was wind, but suddenly a flash from a gunshot came and a masked man came out and threatened the children to get off their bicycles. Otherwise, he would shoot. The children followed his order. After some time, he told Trevor to run as fast as possible, and then told Aaron to do the same. Both Aaron and Trevor thought that Jacob would also come, but they suddenly realized that Jacob had been kidnapped. They rushed to their home in a panic state. Soon Patty and Jerry called the police, and the police started the search for Jacob Wetterling. A few days went by, but nothing about Jacob came to light. However, after a few days, a boy named Jared, who was also sexually assaulted and kidnapped, found similarity between his and Jacob's case and decided to help the police find Jacob. He told them that one day when he was coming home from a restaurant, a car came, and the man inside the car asked him to come inside. Otherwise, he would shoot. Jared followed his order, but he noticed even meaner details about the car. He noticed a police tracker inside the car and learned the route as well. After 20 minutes of driving, the man stopped the car and sexually assaulted Jared, and then drove Jared to the same place where he kidnapped him from and told him that if someone knew about him, he would kill Jared and told him to run. 3 days after Jared's abduction, the police found a man named Heinrich, who was also involved in some burglaries. At one stop, the police noticed a scanner in his car, similar to what Jared saw, but there were other suspects as well. Finally, Jared narrowed down the suspects list to only 2, including Heinrich. But still, the police did not have enough evidence, so Jared had to go home knowing that the criminal who assaulted him is still out there. The police also noticed the similarity between the cases, so they did everything they could to solve the case. On December 13, 1989, after 2 months of Jacob's disappearance, Jared helped the police to draw a sketch of the man, and the sketch was similar to Heinrich. So they asked Heinrich to come to the police office for questioning. Later, they asked Heinrich to give them a sample of his hair and fibers from his car. After a year, the fabric from Jared's snowsuit and Heinrich's car was similar, so they arrested him and interrogated him to answer all of the questions. But Heinrich kept denying every accusation placed on him. And because of a lack of evidence, they had to release Heinrich. Jacob's family was still forcing the police to keep the search going, but everything was going to no avail. Sooner, Jared also felt the pressure, and since he was only 12 years old, he had to relive his traumatized experience again and again when the police called him for questioning. So Jared's parents decided to shift to Paynesville, Minnesota, 20 miles away from their older place, as they wanted their child to live like a normal kid and protect him from the trauma, and as well as the criminal who is still out there. Jacob Wetterling and Jared's case was turning out to be a cold case, as even after 20 years, the police couldn't find Jacob or the man who kidnapped Jacob. But all of this was about to uncover as one blogger finds out something that leads to the uncovering of this case. Joy Baker, a blogger who wrote about discoveries and various topics, stumbled upon an article about the Jacob Wetterling case. In 2013, nearly 24 years after Jacob's disappearance, Joy reached out to Jared to discuss what had happened. She delved deep into online resources and discovered a troubling pattern. There were multiple similar cases in Paynesville, where Jared was now living. These cases involved reports of child sexual assaults, some dating back before Jared's ordeal. Joy came across old articles detailing these past incidents, all involving a masked man wielding a gun. She realized that these cases might be connected and promptly informed the police. The authorities were stunned at how such a crucial detail had been missed all these years. During this time, Jared had become a father himself. So together, Joy and Jared decided to actively participate in the police investigation. Given his connection to Paynesville, Jared reached out to every victim of the past cases. After 2 years of relentless effort, Jared and Joy Baker managed to persuade the police to reopen the investigation. Police also had the hair sample they had taken from Heinrich. Thanks to advancements in technology, the police used the DNA found on Jared's clothes from the time of the attack and compared it to the DNA in that hair sample. It was a perfect match. However, they claimed they couldn't arrest Heinrich due to the significant amount of time it took to uncover this evidence. Finally, the police obtained a search warrant to comb through Heinrich's residence. While they didn't discover any traces of Jacob, they did find disturbing evidence of child pornography at his home. In July 2015, they arrested Danny Heinrich on child pornography charges. But the police had another pressing objective. They needed Heinrich to confess to Jacob's kidnapping and disclose the whereabouts of Jacob. To incentivize him, they offered a deal. If Heinrich would reveal what had happened to Jacob, they would drop all charges against him, except for the child pornography charges. Heinrich accepted this deal and, during his court appearance, made a shocking admission. He confessed to killing Jacob that fateful day, mistaking Jacob's approach for a police car, and fatally shooting him. He also acknowledged assaulting Jacob and admitted to being the man responsible for all those harrowing reports back in 1989. Following his confession, Heinrich led the police to the location where he had buried Jacob's body. As a result of these events, Danny Heinrich was sentenced to 20 years in prison on child pornography charges, as all other charges were dropped. He will be 70 years old by the time he is released from incarceration. If you found this story intriguing and want to see more content like this, please consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us continue creating engaging stories and informative videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.